You know that feeling, that really satisfying click when you're on some old account you haven't used in years and you finally find and hit that delete account button?
Oh, yeah.
It's like this sense of relief. You feel like you've just wiped a little piece of your digital history clean off the map.
And that feeling is exactly what we need to talk about. Because according to our source material today, this presentation called Deleting Accounts, the Data Residue Revealed, that feeling is pretty much an illusion.
Wait, an illusion? You're saying that whole digital decluttering thing it's a lie.
It kind of is.
Yeah.
Spoiler alert, your data has more lives than a cat in a video game. I mean, 9 lives. Try infinite respawns.
Okay, so that's where we're starting. Our mission today is to dig into this, to go page by page and really understand why this digital residue, this data footprint sticks around
Yeah,
even after you think you've deleted it.
exactly. So you click delete, your profile vanishes from public view. The source calls that the disappearing act.
Right.
But the data never actually left the building. It's still there.
And it's not just there, it's in. What, backups? The presentation mentions backups on backups.
Yeah, and it calls them backup dungeons, which I think is a great term for it. And this isn't just because of some corporate digital hoarding.
I was going to ask, is it just that they don't want to let it go, or is there a real reason?
There's a real reason. It's mostly legal. They have to keep records for litigation, for audits, for all sorts of compliance reasons. Your right to be forgotten kind of bumps up against their need to cover themselves legally.
So my desire for privacy is basically second place to their legal department.
At the end of the day, yes.
Yeah.
And this is where we get into what the source calls deactivation theater.
Explain that, because deactivation feels like deletion to most people, right? The account is gone from my view.
Gone from your view. But deactivating just puts a curtain over the window. The servers can still see everything inside. The data is still active, still probably being used in their analytics. True deletion is supposed to be different.
It just sounds so common. I mean, think about it for a second. Have you ever tried to delete an account only to have it pop back up? Maybe you get an email a few weeks later.
All the time.
We actually want to hear from you on this. Drop your ghost account stories in the comments. We're curious how often this happens to people.
Okay, so let's get into the weeds here. The digital shadow. The stuff you can't see.
Right, because it's not just one file we're talking about.
Not at all. The source uses this great metaphor. The digital hydra. Every click, every post, every single interaction you make creates copies.
Yeah.
You delete the original post, and 3 more copies are lurking somewhere else in their system.
So where are these copies hiding?
Well, you have the main server copies, which the source calls the original sin of data storage. But then you have all these other little bits and pieces.
Like what?
Cache ghosts. These are, temporary files that are supposed to make things load faster, but they end up becoming like permanent squatters on servers or even your own devices.
And we're back to the backup vaults where data goes to retire.
Yeah, except it's a retirement home it never checks out of. And that's before we even get to the biggest headache. Third-party mirrors.
Ah, so this is data that was shared with other companies before I hit delete.
Exactly. And the original platform has 0 control over that. It's gone.
It's kind of wild that actually destroying data is so difficult.
It's incredibly hard. Real deletion, what they call cryptographic erasure, is so rare, the source says it's like finding a unicorn riding a hoverboard.
So what do most platforms do instead?
They just mark your data as deleted. It's like giving you a participation trophy. You feel good, but on the back end, nothing has really changed. The data's still there.
Which means those, I don't know, embarrassing vacation photos from 2015 you thought you deleted, they're probably still just chilling on a server farm in Iowa.
Chilling and waiting.
Okay, so while our data is just sitting on a server somewhere, there's a whole other industry that's not just letting it sit, they're actively using it. Let's talk about databrokers.
Yes. The digital stalkers with business licenses. These are the companies that scrape and collect everything. Public records, leaked data, old profiles.
And the source names a few of the big ones, right? Like Spokeo, Whitepages, PeekYou.
The usual suspects. And what they know is, frankly, terrifying. It's not just your name. It's past addresses, phone numbers, who your family members are, where you've worked.
So they're connecting all the dots from all these different sources.
Exactly. So even if you delete your Facebook account today, the profile that a data broker built on you 6 months ago still exists, and it's for sale.
That's the real kicker. It's still being sold to marketers, scammers, and I like how the source just calls them sketchy folks.
Not too much.
Yeah.
This is a challenge for you listening right now. Go ahead, Google yourself. What's the weirdest or most out-of-date piece of information you can find? Share what you dig up in the comments. your own digital archaeology.
So how does this data get out there in the first place? This brings us to third-party apps and the permission trap.
This is probably the biggest hole in the boat for most people. You take some silly personality quiz back in 2016, you click allow, and you've just given that app a permanent key to your data.
I can't even remember what I had for breakfast, let alone some quiz from a decade ago. But it still has access.
It absolutely does. The presentation calls these apps clingy exes. You break up with the main social media platform, but that app is still texting your data to advertisers at 3 in the morning.
And targeted ads are really just the tip of the iceberg here.
Oh yeah, that's the appetizer.
Mm-hmm.
The source calls the main course things like identity theft, deep profiling, and really sophisticated scams.
So the pro tip here is pretty obvious, I guess.
If a flashlight app is asking for access to your contacts, photos, location, and your firstborn child, maybe just say no.
Yeah, swipe left on that one. But just think about it for a second. How many apps have you actually connected to your Google or Facebook account over the years?
I have no idea.
Nobody does, and that's the whole problem right there, which leads us to the real-world consequences, the stuff that actually hurts.
This is where it stops being theoretical. The source lays out 4 nightmares. The first one is the job interview nightmare.
Ah, we all know this one.
You're up for your dream job. They do a deep background check and boom, there's that angry tweet from 10 years ago where you called your old boss a corporate overlord.
And just like that, the offer is gone, sabotaged by past you.
Precisely. Then there's nightmare number 2, the identity theft special.
So this is when a site I deleted my account from gets breached.
Exactly. You thought your data was gone, but it was just sitting in a backup. It gets leaked, and now criminals are using your old info to open credit cards in your name.
The third one, the scammer's goldmine, feels even more personal.
It is, because this is where databrokers make scams super effective. The caller from Microsoft Tech Support already knows your mom's maiden name and your first pet's name. It makes them sound legitimate.
It builds instant trust. That's terrifying. And the last one, the legal landmine.
This is when some old forum post or casual comment you made gets dug up during a lawsuit. You thought it was nothing, just digital dust.
But in court, it's evidence.
And past you is testifying against present you.
We have to ask, has an old piece of digital content ever come back to haunt you? Share the horror stories. Misery loves company, and your story might actually help someone else avoid the same mistake.
Okay, if you're sufficiently terrified, it's time to become a digital detective.
We've already mentioned the Google Gauntlet, searching your name, your nicknames, all of it. What's step 2?
The breach check protocol. You have to go to a site like Have I Been Pwned? Plug in every email you've ever used.
And just prepare for the worst.
Prepare for what the source calls existential dread. But you need to know what's already out there. It tells you which passwords you absolutely have to change right now.
Okay, and then you go on a databroker safari.
Yep. Using a service like OneRep to see who's selling your profile. It is an eye-opening experience. Let's just say it might make you want to move to a cave.
So, once you've seen the damage, how do you start cleaning it up?
First things first. Take inventory. You have to make a list of every account you've ever created. Yes, even that MySpace account from 2005.
You can't delete what you don't know you have.
Exactly. Then you delete with extreme prejudice. But you have to read the fine print. Some platforms will hold your data hostage for 30, 60, even 90 days before they actually start the deletion process.
But this is where we can use our rights, right? The right to be forgotten.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
If you're covered by laws like GDPR or CCPA, you can formally demand that companies delete your data. It's a legal superpower. Use it.
And as you're doing all this, document everything.
Everything. Save the emails, screenshot the confirmation pages, use a tool like Save the Proof if you have to. You need a paper trail because you might need to prove you sent that request later.
Okay, so that's cleanup. What about protecting the future? How do we stop this from happening all over again?
Prevention. First, for the accounts you keep, lock it down. Go into your privacy settings and make them stronger than Fort Knox. If a total stranger can see your vacation photos, you're doing it wrong.
And stay vigilant.
Yes. Set up Google Alerts for your name. A little paranoia is just good cybersecurity practice these days.
And what about tools?
Arm yourself. Use a VPN. Use a secure browser. Be a digital ninja. Leave as few tracks as possible.
And it all comes back to that permission paranoia.
Always. Be stingy with permissions. If an app's request doesn't make sense for what it does, the answer is always no.
We've given you a lot of ideas, but we want to hear yours. What's your go-to privacy tool or tactic? Share it in the comments. Let's crowdsource some digital self-defense here.
So I think the big takeaway from all this is pretty clear. Your digital life is way more persistent than you think. Deleting something is just like act one in the story.
Right. The data residue is still out there like a digital zombie apocalypse just waiting to happen. It really is a survival skill now to manage this stuff.
And the final thought from the source really just, it sums it all up perfectly. In the digital age, forgetting is a bug, not a feature. And you're living in someone else's database.
Wow, okay. That is the challenge right there. So, after hearing all this, what's the first account or digital trace you're going to go hunt down and deal with? Put it in the comments, hold yourself accountable. Let's start a digital cleanup revolution.